If the meeting could come to order, this is the regular meeting of the Mayor and Council for Tuesday, February 18, 2014. It is approximately 8 p.m. Can everybody stand, please, for a moment of silent prayer or reflection? Could we all please remember Borough resident Andy Rossmer,
Yes.
who has left us? Denise, could you lead us in a salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow. That's official.
Me.
All right. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend any meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this law, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place of this meeting posted in the Borough Hall, and notices were sent to the Record and the Ridgewood News. The mission of this governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy to safeguard our infrastructure, providing honest, courteous, and professional services, thereby establishing a sense of trust and accomplishment with our residents. We do this through research and prudent planning, seeking always to minimize liabilities and risk while improving municipal services. We are sensitive at all times to the needs of our taxpayers while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people within the revenue constraints that have been imposed by state mandates, present economic condition, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. We're on the record, everyone, both by video and audio, and everything is being recorded during the public portion of the meeting. If you wish to speak, you need only identify yourself, and you can make a statement or ask any question, and we'll see if we can provide you with an answer. There are 3 exits in council chambers, 2 to the front and 1 to the rear. Can I have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Burke.
Here.
Councilman Coppola.
Here.
Councilwoman Bixby.
Here.
Councilman Nolan.
Here.
Councilman Eccleston.
Present.
Councilman Papaleo.
Here.
The Mayor Mascarotola.
Present. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Mayor and Council work session and regular meeting of February the 3rd, 2014?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Special Improvement District meeting of February the 4th, 2014?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I
Any-
abstained from, I was not at the meeting.
All right. This evening, tonight, we are honored to have our superintendent of the Riverdale school system here for a proclamation, and we are also honored to give a proclamation to Cub Scout Pack 95 for their achievement. I'd like to do the superintendent's proclamation first, I would ask Councilman Aquafreda to join me. Photo up. I'd like to also acknowledge Mr. Bonfiglio here, and are there members of the Board of Ed? Yes. Great. All right. Let's see, where should I'm going to stand over here. All right. Whereas Patrick Fletcher was named as Superintendent of the Year, Northern New Jersey, for the 2013-2014 year, and whereas the New Jersey Association of School Administrators awarded this honor after a selection by his peers, and whereas this is the first time a Riverdale Regional School District Superintendent received this distinction, and whereas Patrick Fletcher promotes a student-centered philosophy of education and demonstrates an unwavering commitment to all students, whereas this dedication is demonstrated year-round by attending school events and competitions, monitoring student and staff safety during inclement weather and other emergencies, and celebrating student achievement at every opportunity, whereas he implemented a one-to-one student laptop program that provides students with 21st century skills, that has become a model for other school districts in New Jersey as well as in other states, and whereas he continues to promote new and innovative learning opportunities for students to develop cutting-edge skills that will allow them to remain competitive well after they graduate from high school. Whereas his supervision of the referendum program that provided renovations and additions to the River Edge schools brought the project in on time and under budget, resulting in a facility that is the envy of schools across the state. Whereas under his leadership, the regional district achieved artistic, athletic, and economic success, as demonstrated by Riverdale being named a top high school in New Jersey as well as the nation, receiving multiple state championships for boys and girls athletics, as well as multiple state and national honors for its choral and music programs. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council, on behalf of the entire River Edge community, we hereby honor Patrick Fletcher, Superintendent of the Year for Northern New Jersey.
Want to take your word?
If I may.
Please.
First
I'll
off,
say mine.
hello,
You go
would you go first? I'd like to thank the Mayor and Council for this honor. I'm pleased that you recognize what the association does, and I'm especially honored because this award came from my peers, which makes it so much more rewarding to me. However, for those of you in the audience, especially you young people, when you heard all these things that I did, you need to understand it wasn't me who did them all. I'm very pleased that I had a very supportive Board of Education. Mr. Aquafreda, who's now a councilman, was on our board. Behind you, Mrs. O'Neill, Mrs. Hartman, Mr. Barberi over there, all three members of the board. I'm very honored to have Rich Friedman, my middle school principal, here. And I have some representatives from the other sending districts. I have the superintendent for River Edge, Tova Bendove, over here, and Pat Salvati, who's the business administrator, and a member of the Board of Ed, who is a former student of ours.
Yes. I signed his diploma.
He gave it to you, too, right, Andy? He gave it to you. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Tom Bonfiglio in a special way. Tom is the business administrator of the school district, and he keeps the finances in order. And I wouldn't be able to be as successful as I was without having a competent person by my side to make sure they don't have to worry about those things. But more importantly than anything else, I get to work with some really great people. Some of you will have them as teachers or have them now as teachers and other administrators, and it's because of them that I've been successful and have this opportunity to get this award. And since we're here at the Mayor and Council Chambers, and I know you did have a little discussion earlier, I want to also say that Riverdale enjoys a tremendous cooperation with the local other departments that we work with. Chief Caridi is in the back here, the chief of our police department. I rely on him in a variety of different ways when we have problems. Our fire department, and of course our DPW, who we wouldn't be able to keep school open, even though it's been kind of trouble lately, without their help. Without them, we would be in trouble. So it's all of this people that get together that all these nice words were said about me, and I thank all of you for being here and for being part of this. Thank you.
I just want to add, well, I want to recognize also Colleen Basti in addition to...
I'm sorry, no, Colin, I let you have it, so I apologize.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. As present here, and certainly Mr. Freeman, who's the principal of the middle school, the kid. But anyway, this is the culmination of a built-up process that actually started when Patrick came from a neighborhood district known as Glenrock to Riverdale, and the rest is history, so to speak. Patrick symbolizes the renaissance of the Riverdale district as an academic and and yes, to a certain extent also as a sport school, but certainly we always try to push the academic first. It hasn't been easy, and we certainly should consider ourselves glad to have stability at the top. And stability at the top, personified by Mr. Fletcher, said it was a pleasure, and we certainly had the backing of the entire council in suggesting this proclamation and then putting it into effect. So, thank you.
Thank you again. Appreciate it. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations, Patrick.
Welcome.
All right.
Sure.
Let's get Cub Scout Pack 95 up here. and their leaders. Can I see your trophy? Whereas Cub Scout Pack 95 competed in the Three Rivers Klondike Derby, which was held on January 25th, 2014 at Camp Gore Mountain, whereas more than 54 sleds competed. The Cub Scout division had over 30 sleds in their division, and most sleds were 5th grade senior Webelos. Whereas the boys who make up Pack 95's Fudgy the Whale team were, or are, Aiden Mitchell, raise your hand, okay, Andrew Caslin, Andrew Harvey, Arian Kayagi, Brian Bastide, Brendan O'Neill, Cole Zaccaro, not here, Geroyd Clark, Jack Volmar, James Gorillo, and Sean Murray. Whereas the boys competed in 6 skill stations: fire building, first aid, team building, lashing, orienteering, and shelter building. Whereas the boys pushed and pulled a Klondike dog sled packed with all their supplies up and down the trails of Camp Gore Mountain. Whereas the Whales were awarded 109 points out of a possible 120, giving them the championship. And whereas after their last station, the boys ran a sled race that gave them a second place win with a time of 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Now therefore be it resolved on behalf of the Mayor and Council and on behalf of all of the councilmen, do hereby proclaim Cub Scout Pack 95 trainers, Kevin Crest, and their adult leaders, Mike O'Neill, Claudia O'Neill, Judy Volmar, and Lou Zaccaro, are hereby honored for taking first place in the Three Rivers Klondike Derby. Congratulations. What was the hardest part? Sled race?
And the snowy, cold day.
Because it was so heavy and it was after all of the other competitions?
Yeah, and it was snowing, and it was
It was
like
snowing and very, very cold.
Very
The
cold.
last event.
Yep.
Well, congratulations, everybody. I
Thank you.
love the trophy. What's that trophy for?
This
That's-
is second place in the sled race.
Ah, that's for the sled
Yeah.
race. Okay,
Like
great.
the Stanley Cup. So it's somebody's house now.
All right, I'm going to give this to you. Peter?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Mrs. Busteed, for thinking of us. Thank you.
Can I get one picture with the scouts? Let me stand in the back here. Thank you. All right, take it easy, guys. You're welcome.
Future taxpayers of Rural
Ellen,
Village.
what is the significance of the hat?
Hold on.
Each a whale. Each team
Oh,
has
the whale.
each whale. Last year they were what, pandas?
Yeah, pandas and frogs, yeah.
You know, they pick their own mascot every year. The boys decide.
Last year they had 2 teams.
How many
Two teams
other
this year too.
troops competed?
So, one
From
team
River
won,
Edge?
one team.
No, all together.
Oh, but you have to go.
Same troop?
Yes.
Cub Scouts, 54.
Sorry?
And then there were Boy Scouts.
Yes.
Also. If you want it?
Want to take my job? You can sit here. I'm going to go home.
Go. Go.
Don't want the job. Smarter than me.
All right, could I have a motion to open the meeting on any issue on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, our meeting is open to the public. Should any member of the public wish to speak, make a comment, ask a question on any agenda item on this evening's agenda. Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close this portion of the public meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have a public hearing tonight on an application to New Jersey Transit 5310 program. That's the bus program. We're in the process of filling out the grant application. I believe the deadline is March 14th. It's done electronically. Alan is assisting me in it. Can I have a motion to open this meeting up for a public hearing on this application?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Would anyone wish to speak on this grant application to obtain an additional senior transportation bus? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing on this grant application?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. This evening, we have some appointments and personnel changes. I'd like to approve the change of appointment of Lou Grasso, 172 Lozier Terrace, from the Zoning Board of Adjustment to the Planning Board.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? All right, Lou,
I didn't bring another,
That's
I
okay.
have them here, but he doesn't really need...
I don't know if I think really what Mr. Grasso should do, since he's appointed to the zoning board, I mean, it's in the record, so we made the appointment. But Lou, if you could shoot us an email that you're resigning from the zoning board, so we have it in our minutes, and then this will be effective once we get that.
Okay.
And then we can swear you in at the next planning board meeting, or I can swear you in any time. All right?
Okay, that's fine.
All right, thank you. Next is to approve the resignation of Gerard Clark from the planning board, effective immediately.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Regretfully.
Mr. Clark is moving the family back to Ireland.
Mayor, is Mr. Grasso's appointment for Mr. Clark's spot, or will there be another vacancy?
Mr. Grasso's appointment was for the appointment that expired with John Orth.
Okay.
So
So there'll be another vacancy?
there's a vacancy for Mr. Clark's appointment. We have correspondence that is listed on the agenda, 2 notices, a letter and a certificate. We have notices and letters from the River Edge Board of Education, River Edge Elementary Schools, and from Mr. Clark. In addition, there are monthly reports from the Building Department, the Zoning Board, the Annual Financial Statement, the Library Board, and the Board of Health. This evening, we have liaison reports, beginning with Councilwoman Murphy, who is liaison to the Shade Tree Commission, the Library Board of Trustees, the Environmental Protection Commission, the Green Team, New Milford and Oradell Shared Services Committee. Councilwoman Murphy.
So there's good news on the technology front. We have put out an email to some technology people to come in on Monday and take a walkthrough and try to get some Wi-Fi in this building. So hopefully these responses, they'll come in and we'll finally get Wi-Fi. Shade Tree is meeting tomorrow, and the Green Team is meeting next Tuesday. They have their grant that has to be spent by the 28th or 29th.
End of the month.
End of the month.
That's
And New
for the-
Milford will be joining us next week, too.
That's for the recycling schedule?
Yes, Mayor.
Yep. So it doesn't leave much time, but we're going to get it done that night, and that's going to be the end of it.
Okay.
And Dara is on vacation, so we did not have a meeting for the library. And that's what I have for tonight.
And the Green Team's grant applications for 2014 were filed, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And this year, we're going for another $2,000 grant?
We're doing 2 and 10.
And a $10,000 grant. Okay. Councilman Capola, Recreation Commission Senior Citizen Co-Liaison, Beautification and Special Events.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The Recreation gave me, to give everyone here, and you have it in front of you, is the Recreation Director's annual report. So that was done about 2 meetings back, so everyone has a copy of that. Senior citizens, I have not gotten a chance to go down there due to the storms in the past couple of weeks. Beautification, I'm meeting Thursday for the first time, so I'm pretty excited about that. And special events will also be meeting next week. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bastide, Liaison to the Senior Citizens, Historic Commission, Traffic and Safety Committee, Special Events Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I did have a chance to stop down to see the seniors last Monday. I'm happy to report they indicated they're making very good use of the senior bus during all these storms, and it's been very helpful to get them around and out to their shopping and doctors and functions. So I think getting an additional bus would be welcomed by them. They did inquire, and perhaps, Alan, they're anxious to have the public health nurse resume their regular visits to do blood pressure screening. So if we can make note of that and see if we can get her to resume that, that would be welcome there. Let's see. Historic Commission is meeting next week. Anthony and I did go to special events last month, right? We had a special events meeting last month. They're making great progress with Volunteer Day in April, River Edge Run, and 4th of July. I would just put out there that we could use more citizen volunteers on special events, so anybody listening or would like to volunteer, please do. Traffic and safety, we are meeting next week, and I'm hoping we'll get an update from our borough engineer regarding discussions he's had with PSE&G about the lights at the bus stops that we talked about with the county. Councilman Mignon, the mayor, and I did.
Ellen, when are we meeting?
The 26th,
Okay.
Wednesday morning. Along with, hopefully, Mr. Costa can update us on any further conversations he's had with the county about improving the crosswalks on Kinderkamak, which is what we also discussed about, and some calming measures on Continental near Memorial Park. I don't know, Mayor, if you feel that traffic and safety meeting would be something we might want to include New Jersey Transit on to accelerate those conversations. Perhaps Borough Clerk would see if...
I'll try 8 a.m.
It's 8:30, 8:45. Well,
Yeah, we'll see.
just so you know, we do have a meeting scheduled, and we have a lot of people coming, so that would be great. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman. I'm just putting that in my diary so I don't forget. It's an important meeting, and I want to make sure that I attend.
Thank you.
Councilman Mignon, Liaison to the DPW, the Zoning Subcommittee, and Redevelopment, New Milford Oradell Shared Services.
There were no public hearings on the zoning board this month, and I just give a little more encouragement to John Lynch and his crew. It's been a brutal winter on them. John looks like he's fighting the battle, but he's getting it done. Again, through this past storm, River Edge is a lot better off than a lot of other towns. He's doing it with less manpower, less materials, and just let him know that as far as I can speak for the mayor and council, we're all behind him.
Sure.
Keeping what he's doing. They're doing an excellent job, and I guess spring's a month away, so hopefully when we get past that, we'll get back into our regular routine, and John can get a little well-deserved rest. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. One thing about, I think the success of the DPW is in great part because this governing body has made sure that it gives the DPW the important but expensive equipment that they need in order to do the work that they do. At these last storms that we haven't had any power failures. I think that's because of the amount of tree trimming that has gone on since the hurricane, and the good use that we've put the new tree truck to, and you just can't say enough about how such a small group of guys can do such a tremendous job. Councilman Aquafredo, Liaison to the Construction Code Official Property Maintenance Planning Subcommittee and the River Edge and Riverdale Schools.
Well, schools have had a lot of snow days. We'll attend the next meeting and find out if any of the breaks will be affected by these snow days that have been taken. Regrettably, there will not be a meeting of the planning board on Thursday. So this is 2 months in a row that the planning board does not have a scheduled meeting. I believe the next one is a work session beginning of March. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Papaleo, Police Department, Fire Prevention, River Edge Alliance Against Alcohol and Drugs.
Thank you, Mayor. The River Edge Alliance Against Alcohol and Drugs is in the process of completing, or has completed, the forms necessary for the new fiscal year for them. These forms have changed because of state mandate, and several things have changed, but we're expecting, the Alliance is expecting a full grant for the next or new fiscal year. Since the beginning of the year has changed, we have been awarded, the Alliance has been awarded half of its annual budget for January to June. A good part of this money will be used for project graduation as well as for the DARE program for our town. As part of the Mayor's Wellness Program, the Alliance is funding yoga classes taught by Yvette Halligan, thank you. A yoga instructor and local resident, and we wanted to note that she is a local resident. The dates have not yet been confirmed, but it will start in the spring. The Police Department, I have met with the chief on 2 separate occasions and with the PBA local representation. They have been very productive talks, and I am grateful for the time that our Chief Caridi, as well as our union representatives, Officer Staros, did I say his name right? Good, Staros, and Zemenes have given, and I feel we are well on our way to having a productive conversation and dialogue. River Edge Fire Department, as of today, there were 43 calls for this year. We have had 27 calls since January 23rd. On February 12th at 9:45, the River Edge Fire Department, volunteer fire department, was called into New Milford to assist with a working house fire. Units operated there for more than 2 hours. They did a phenomenal job. It was a dangerous scene, and they worked very well with New Milford in our Triborough Alliance to get this fire under control. After the New Milford fire, several members stood by the firehouse went on standby at the firehouse due to the snowstorm. Members were on standby through the 13th and were released on Friday the 14th at 8 a.m. This time frame represents 2 nights and an entire day on Thursday that the members remained at the firehouse assisting and responding to calls, assisting the River Edge ambulance, or REVAC. During the storm, River Edge responded to numerous calls, including 4 calls to assist, as I said, the River Edge Ambulance Corps with accessing houses. River Edge Fire Department Engine 2 assisted with patient packaging and clearing a path from the residents to the ambulance. A total of almost 600 volunteer man-hours were spent during this past storm by the members of the River Edge Fire Department. River Edge Fire Department members have spent several hours over the past couple of days digging out and trying to find buried fire hydrants throughout the town. This is a major issue and a safety concern for the firefighters and residents. The River Edge Fire Department's chief requests that the borough enforce the ordinance that requires residents to shovel out their hydrant. The River Edge Fire Department recently hosted a group of special needs children from the New Bridge Center at Fire Company Number 1. They were shown the apparatus and the firefighting equipment. And that was respectfully submitted to me by Chief Caridi. I would just like to highlight and emphasize our volunteers had no obligation to go out and do the hydrants, but they knew that our residents were really at wit's end. They do want the ordinance to be enforced, but they were they on their own, for the safety and concern of the town, went out and started digging out those hydrants. Also, their assistance with the ambulance corps. That was also an innovation. They had never done this before, but the chief of the department, Chief Caridi, decided that since we have the men ready and on standby, every time there would be an ambulance call, that they would go with they would respond to the same location to make sure that if there was any insurmountable obstacles due to the snow and ice, that they would be on hand to assist, and they did that. So I'm very proud of our fire department as well as our police department for everything they're doing, and the DPW did a phenomenal job, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, I have a report from the River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Service dated February 2014. Through the month of January, the River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Service responded to 54 calls. At their annual dinner a few weeks ago, I swore in the new officers. Pins were given out for the CPR certification. Most of the council was in attendance, which is always a good thing to see. Captain Donna Sanders was appointed the captain for the 2014 year, and the Volunteer Ambulance Service wants to acknowledge the fire department for assisting them, as Councilman Papaleo noted, during the storm, where they followed the ambulance and cleared a path and shoveled ice and snow in order so that patients could safely be moved from the home to the rig for transportation to the hospital if needed. So it was a good innovation, a good cooperation amongst two very highly significant volunteer services that we have here in town, and the taxpayers should be very happy about that. In addition, during the standby, I was twiddling my thumbs, feeling a little guilty, so Councilwoman Murphy and I went over to the ShopRite in New Milford. I think we were probably the last two people
before it collapsed.
Before the roof collapsed.
Nice.
And we cooked chili and cornbread for the DPW and the fire service. I think we fed about 40 or 50 volunteers, assisted by Councilman Papaleo, Councilwoman Bastide, and it was a good thing to see while they were on 24-hour standby. So that's my report. We have ordinances on for first reading. Ordinance 1801. Madam Clerk, could you read the title?
Ordinance 1801, ordinance amending Chapter 71, Article 3, promotional policy for lieutenants of the Code of the Borough of River Edge.
All right, this ordinance is on for first reading. This ordinance amends our promotional ordinance regarding lieutenants by adding a objective written test to the ordinance. It is going to be listed for a public hearing before final adoption and published in the paper. Can I have a motion to move this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion regarding this ordinance? All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide?
Yes.
Councilman McMillan?
Yes.
Councilman Eccleston?
Yes.
And Councilman Papaleo?
Yes.
All right. We will advertise the ordinance, and then we will conduct our second reading, public hearing, and final adoption vote. We have an ordinance on for second reading and public hearing, which is ordinance 1798. Madam Clerk, can you read the title?
An ordinance authorizing an emergency appropriation NJSA 40:4-53, Mayor, to support our codification of our ordinances.
All right.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. This is a roll call to open to the public.
Right.
So moved.
We have a
yes.
motion and a second.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide?
Yes.
Councilman McMillan?
Yes.
And Councilman
Yes.
Eccleston and Councilman Papaleo?
Yes.
All right. The hearing is open to the public on ordinance number 1798, which is to appropriate funds for a codification of the borough ordinances, to put them in this book here. Would any member of the public wish to speak on this particular ordinance? Comment or a question?
Sounds like a good idea.
Thank you. Can we have your name, please, for the record?
Anthony DeBella.
Thank you, Mr. DeBella. Can I have a motion to close the hearing to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion for final adoption of ordinance number 1798?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ricci?
Yes.
Councilman McMillan?
Yes.
Councilman Equifreda?
Yes.
And Councilman Capolet?
Yes.
Thank you. Next is ordinance number 1799. Madam Clerk, can you read the title?
Ordinance 1799, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45.14, for the calendar year 2014.
Mr. Negrian, could you advise the public what the nature of this ordinance is?
Well, the state imposes a cap on the appropriation side of the budget. This year, it would be either 0.5% or 3.5%. Council can move from the 0.5% to the 3.5% if it introduces this ordinance. This does not necessarily increase taxes, but it does provide flexibility, not so much this year, but it would provide flexibility in 2015 and 2016. I believe it would be prudent to maintain the cap base and the bank, and since you have a levy cap to restrict the amount of property taxes you would raise, this would be advisable to adopt this ordinance at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Negrian. Can I have a motion to open the hearing to the public on ordinance 1799?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, this is the public hearing for ordinance number 1799. Would any member of the public like to ask a question or make a comment or a statement regarding the adoption or potential adoption of this ordinance, which would establish a cap bank of 3.5%? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion for the final adoption of ordinance number 1799?
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Can I have a roll call, please, Denise?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
No.
Councilwoman Ricci?
Yes, can I ask a question first?
We had no discussion, but...
Yeah, I want to just, can I ask the question, just clarification?
Yeah.
Okay. This ordinance has to be reintroduced annually,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I vote yes.
Councilman McMillan?
Yeah, I've belabored this point at regular budget meetings, my general opposition to this cap bank idea, and particularly this year, I think the state has done an injustice to the towns by giving us a choice between 0.5% and 3.5%. Previous years, the choice has been between 2%, 3%, and the 3.5%. I've always argued we should go to lower percent because eventually this cap bank idea is going to be either eliminated or phased out or whatever. Just at the work session tonight, I handed out some information from the League of Municipalities that Senate President Sweeney is even talking about having a 0% levy cap, which then would mean the appropriation cap would essentially be gone anyway. But this 0.5%, even though I believe we technically still would make it under the 0.5%, am I correct, Alan, in that?
Yeah, I think what we looked at was we would make it with the 0.5%.
We would make it with the 0.5%, but I guess it's not the right way for the state to try to control property taxes. But this year I will vote yes for this because we're given that choice of 0.5%, which leaves us as essentially no flexibility going into next year. But I think the council, we need to take heed of where the legislature's going with this idea, with these levy caps, appropriation caps, and we need to really pay attention to where our appropriations come in and not think about things which are in the cap, outside the cap, because I think all these, for lack of a better term, loopholes are going to be taken away from us. And we're going to be left in a very poor position making very, very major decisions affecting public services if those kind of caps are indeed implemented. So I will support the 3.5% this year, but like I said, I think the legislature needs to come up with a better way of addressing the property tax issue in the state.
Councilman Estrada?
Yes.
Councilman Papaleo?
Yes.
All right, thank you. We have resolutions by consent on a consent agenda, beginning with Resolution 14-90, going up to and including sequentially or including the payment of bills, 14-108, which we will move separately by our finance chair, and including 14-109. Does any member of the council wish to pull out for separate discussion or consideration any resolution? Kathleen?
14-107.
For what, for discussion or vote?
I have a question. I know this is regarding when we have the asset forfeiture. Just wondering, have we ever gotten, where are we at with our asset forfeiture money? Have we gotten any? I know we've had to sell some things.
Police chief would be in a better position to answer this question, but in the past, I believe he was able to access money for uniforms for the police officers.
Because I was going through some old agendas, and I saw that we had gotten like 15 or 1900,000 last year that yet we had to sign over to the county, and then we are able to get it if we show that we have need for it. Is that how it works?
When the chief makes an arrest and I guess takes control of some of the property in the arrest, that does go to the prosecutor's office.
And then we have to apply to the prosecutor to get back that money.
We apply for participation, correct.
So I'm just wondering how much we have given to them and how much have we
I've never seen
recovered.
any documents on that, and I don't, that would have to be a question for the police chief. I don't know whether it's available.
Question for the police chief. It's a question for the police chief.
And that should be done through the liaison.
Ed?
1492, 93, 95, 96, 97, 98.
That's all the open space?
With the exception of the Department of Public Works. I didn't agree with the allotments when we voted on them initially, so I'm just...
So that's 92,
93,
93,
95, 96, 97, 98.
95, 96, 97,
98.
All right.
Can we make each of those separate?
Yeah, we can make each of those separate. Let's do it this way. Let's move 14-90 and 14-91. Can someone make a motion to move those two by consent, those two resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, now let's move down to 14-94, or unless Councilman Papaleo, did you want that one
No, from
separately?
1492 on to 98 separately.
Including 94?
94 is the, no, I'm sorry, quite correct.
Okay, can I have a motion on 14-94?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right. Okay, how about 14-99 up to 14-107?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? 14-109, the grant application for the bus.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now let's go back to the separate ones, beginning with the endorsement of an allocation for the open space for the Shade Tree Commission, 14-92. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. And can I have a roll call, please, Denise?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Coppola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastidt?
Yes.
Councilman Mignon?
No.
Councilman Estrada?
Yes.
And Councilman Papaleo?
I'm going to be voting yes, but I'd like to qualify that yes. I do not agree with what appears to me to be arbitrary reallocation. But upon debate, the council put forth I think it ended up being $10,050 because that represented the portion of the budget that they wanted for their trees. And so I felt, since I was arguing for some justification, I needed to vote yes for that. And I would not want to change my position now, but I'd just like to reiterate that I'm concerned about us making arbitrary or arbitrary. I didn't want to say that. That's what I was doing, Kathleen.
We like that word.
That word is...
So you thought it was capricious, too?
No,
We're not having a conversation.
Okay.
You're just explaining your vote, Councilman.
Good, okay. And so, without assistance, I vote yes.
Okay, so that is adopted. Next is 14-93, the allocation for the 9/11 Memorial Plan. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And there's a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Is there a second, Mayor?
Yes.
There's a second by Ellen.
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Secola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastu?
Yes.
Councilman McNown?
Yeah, I'm voting no, and the reason I'm voting no, and it goes with all these allocations in general, just along the lines of what Councilman Capoy was saying, that I do feel we were kind of arbitrary in allocating these monies. And to me, I think that we should be looking at some of these smaller groups, the Shade Tree, 9/11, Beautification Committee, and say some years, why don't they get the full allocation they're asking for? They represent a very small portion of the overall requests, and I don't think they were given that opportunity to make the case for, at least after we gave them the initial review, to come back and justify that they should get the $2,000 or $3,000 more we're cutting from them to give it to other groups. So I have an issue with the way the allocations were put out, and that's why I'm voting no on the individual ones.
Councilman Acofreda?
Yes.
Councilman Capolet?
For all the reasons that Councilman Mignon stated, I'm voting no.
All right.
42.
Okay. 14-95, that's the Beautification Committee allocation.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Secola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastu?
Yes.
Councilman McNown?
No, for the same explanation I gave previously.
Councilman Acofreda?
Yes.
Councilman Capolet?
No.
Okay, they asked for 3, they got 3. It doesn't sound arbitrary and capricious to me.
I thought we cut them.
No,
No, we did
that's
not.
exactly what they asked for.
We get them.
I'd like to amend my vote to a yes.
Then I will too.
I thought that they got cut too. I apologize.
That was my understanding also.
All right, let the record reflect that, I don't know how we do that.
I'll put it in.
All right, next is 14-96. This is an allocation for the Recreation Commission plan. I have to turn to the resolution to see what portion it is. This is maintenance and recreation of parks in the amount of $36,363. Is there a motion?
I'd like to, should we discuss after the motion? I'll make a motion.
If there's a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And there's this is on for discussion now.
So we have two here, one in the amount of $36,363, and then the next resolution is $53,513. Is there a differentiation of the money?
Yes, there is. Alan can explain.
96 is the lights, and
Okay.
97 is the rest of the rec program for
Okay.
maintenance.
So, I'm just trying to see where it says lights in 1496.
It doesn't.
Should it be noted as
No,
lights?
it references a plan that was submitted by the Recreation Commission, which is on file with the Borough Clerk.
Okay. That's all, thank you.
So 36,363, it would be allocated towards the lights in the resolution 14-96. 14-97 is the 53,513 out of a request, I believe it was...
I think there was 5,000 that was taken down.
Right, I believe the request was 58 or 59.
59,283.
59. And then 14-98 is for the park allocation, which is part of the match from the county open space. Okay, so that's any further discussion on those items? We have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call on 14-96?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Batiste?
Yes.
Councilman McMahon?
Yes.
Councilman Eckert-Freda?
Yes.
Councilman Caprio?
I'm going to be voting no. I had suggested, I still feel that this should be coming out of capital instead of open space. And so, for that reason, I'll be voting no.
All right. 14-97, the general allocation for the Recreation Commission.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on this particular item? Can I have a roll call, please, Denise?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Batiste?
Yes.
Councilman McMahon?
No.
Councilman Eckert-Freda?
Yes.
And Councilman Caprio?
No.
Passes, no.
All right. And 14-98, the match for the county open space allocated to Cherry Blossom Park. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this particular resolution? Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Murphy?
Yes.
Councilman Capola?
No.
Councilwoman Batiste?
Yes.
Councilman McMahon?
No.
Councilman Eckert-Freda?
Yes.
And Councilman Caprio?
Yes.
All right. Councilman Mignon, could you move 14-108, the payment of bills?
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas vouchers for the payment of goods and services rendered to the Borough of River Edge have been received, and whereas each bill has been checked by the receiving department, approved by the Chief Financial Officer and Borough Clerk, and reviewed by the 3 members of the Finance Committee, now therefore be it resolved that bills as listed now be confirmed for payment from the appropriate funds as follows. Current account, $62,086.18. Recreation account, $7,176.70. Trust Others Developers account, $1,303.07. Trust Other account, $156.40. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. Okay, I'd like to have a motion to open the hearing to the public
So
on
moved.
any issue.
Second.
The motion, there's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained?
Oh, did you second?
I did.
No, Ed did.
Ed seconded. Okay, the hearing is open to the public to discuss any issue affecting your interest. Would any member of the public wish to make a statement, ask a question, have a comment?
Jane?
Could you just tell us who you are?
My name is Jane Filane. S-I-L-A-N-E. That's the address. 653 Bubbard Road.
Okay.
I wanted to ask the council, this has come up over the years, my neighbors and I have requested this before, and also with the police chief, if the town could consider changing parking regulations in the town. It's become a safety issue now with all of the snow. I know it's difficult for everyone, but well, I had a situation here where I live, and it's not just where I live, it's all over town, with commuters parking and people parking on the street in a blizzard. Anytime, like all times of the day. And I can't see backing out of my driveway. My children can't safely cross the street because of all the parking on the street. And I know in many other towns they have regulations where you can only park for maybe 3 hours, or there's no overnight parking. And we did meet a few years ago with the police chief about this, because there was an issue where, over the, so I just wanted to bring that up to see if that could be taken into consideration.
What side of Bogart do you live on?
Well, I live on Bogart and Jefferson.
All right?
So, for instance, last week when we had this blizzard, I had 3 commuters that still came and parked their cars in the blizzard. The governor had a state of emergency, so they can't plow on my street. I called the police department today to see if there's any regulation how far you can park from the curb. They said, well, no, you can't see the curb. I said, I know you can't see the curb, but we know where the curb would be. And they said, you have to exercise your judgment, or common sense, actually, is what she said. If the person is parked, they're basically parking in the middle of the road. You have to weave in and out this way. But the parking is just, it's really a safety issue. I can't see backing out of my own driveway because of the cars that are parked on the edge of my driveway and cars that are parked across it. And that just makes it worse when we have the snow like this. The roads are impassable. So you're winding down the road, serpentining to go around these cars. We see cars that are buried in the snow still. And there are regulations on certain streets, but I've not seen any tickets, but there's not on every street. So people can just leave their street, you can't leave leaves out there, but people can store their cars on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, we have a Traffic and Safety Committee meeting next week. We're going to invite the chief to attend that meeting. We could raise this issue with him at that time. Denise can send a memo to the chief so that he could be prepared to look at the area around 653 Bogart Road, and so that he could be prepared to address it.
And we did have a meeting with the police chief. This has been going on for years. And he said, well, that's something that we're looking at, but we have to give people time. And I don't really know why we have to give people time.
Alan.
Yeah, I would presume the chief was talking about overnight, no overnight parking. And that discussion did take place for many years. And I think the time element is some people don't have wide enough driveways or long enough driveways, and if you're going to tell people to take their cars off the street at night, you have to give them the opportunity to make those improvements on their property to be able to store those vehicles off-street. So I think that was the reference to time, to give the residents time to make those improvements, to be able to move their cars off the street and comply.
Kathleen?
I would agree, Jane. It's like an obstacle course trying to get down. The streets are so narrow now that if there's like one parked car and somebody else is coming this way, you either have to pull over, or it's kind of like a dance, who can get by. I spoke to the superintendent, and he says that we don't have an ordinance regarding taking all the cars off the streets when it's snowing.
I'm sure we must have that ordinance.
I have been, like everyone, and because of the cars that are parked in my driveway, then they couldn't, and it's not the DPW, they're doing the best that they can.
Right.
And they have to go around me, so then they shovel that all back into my driveway because they're having to go around cars that are buried under snow. Or like the commuters, and I have commuters that actually live a block away from me. They drive one block. They've knocked my neighbor's garbage cans over. They're recycling. We've had newspapers spread all over. And so I'm not saying that people can't park in the street, but there's no consideration, and it's a safety issue. You cannot see in it. And maybe if they could do one side of the street parking or come up with something, because it's...
Councilwoman Bastide had her hand up.
Ed did as well. Hi, Jane. So you're talking about Jefferson as opposed to Bogart, or are you talking about both streets?
Well, for me, it's...
Just so the chief has, when he takes a look at it.
For me, it's Jefferson, but it's also on Bogart. The thing is that you cannot see with all the amount of cars parking. I've gotten into a fender bender backing out of my driveway. There have been numerous accidents on my corner because people cannot see into the intersection. A pedestrian was hit by a car on my intersection. And it's not just my intersection, it's all over town when you see that. You cannot see into the road because of the parking on the street.
Bogart from Continental to...
I'm sorry, are you saying you live on, your driveway access is Jefferson or Bogart?
My address is Bogart, but my driveway is on Jefferson.
And are you looking for a resolution for this side of the town, or are you looking for some sort of ordinance for the entire town?
Well, I mean, I think it would benefit the whole town. My neighbors and I have come for our particular block because this has been an issue that's been going on for years. But I'm sure it's not just contained to that block. I'm sure it's
There was a reason I asked that, because I live on Manning between Kamak and Bogart, and we have signage that says that you cannot park between 9 and 11. And my neighbors have said, well, you're on the council, Tom, you got to fix this. They don't like the fact that they can get a ticket parking in front of their own house between 9 and 11, especially if you have 2 or 3 children and therefore you do not have enough parking space for the driveway. Now, I guess what I'm asking is, do you understand that if we move forward with such ordinance, that during the summer, all during the year, if we said there was a limit, that you could be ticketed in front of your house? And is that something that you feel and your neighbors feel would be acceptable? Okay.
The issue too is, like, I know they're saying that, oh, they can't park there between 9 and 11, but they wouldn't be able to park there because the whole town would be parking there.
That's been my argument to my neighbors too.
And that is a safety issue because I have children as well, and they can't see and they park literally at the edge of your driveway. You cannot see. You've got kids playing around there. My kids trying to walk to school, and they're trying to see if there's any, we're trying to see if there's any traffic coming. We did ask if they could extend that 9 to 11 to the next block, and they said, well, no, because that'll just push it back another block. And I said, well, it wouldn't really, because there are actually people who commute from the next block. They drive 1 block and park there. So I said, then they would have the same plan. They'd have to walk from home. But, I don't mean to push it on anyone at the next block, but it is a safety issue.
Thank you.
I think whether we do it during non-snowstorms is a different issue. I think during snow, it's something that should be almost a no-brainer. Either the police chief, the chief of police, and the DPW director should either have inherent authority, or we give them the authority to post certain streets where you can either park on one side or no on-street parking during a snowstorm. Because even I'm on a wider street, but still with the way the snow has been, if there's 2 cars on opposite side of the street, you're not going to get an ambulance down there for cars coming. You're not going to get a fire truck through. So I think that's something we should be able to address. The larger issue, I used to be the police liaison for 3 years, and we've had this discussion many times about whether we want to have resident-only parking and restricted hours, and that's a little more difficult consensus to build. But I still think, like, for a snow emergency, we should be able to do something, because that's something that...
We have an ordinance. It's on the books. 18.1, and it lists all the main streets, and it lists that when there's snow on the streets, there's alternate side of the street parking on certain days until the roads have been sufficiently plowed.
And I think we need to publicize that better.
It doesn't look like it's being enforced.
And I think that's just on certain, like on main thoroughfares. I don't think it's on all, because I have had incidents.
Well, it includes Bogart.
No, but like Jefferson, like the side streets, I had an incident where a fire truck they couldn't get through. They had to back up and go the other way.
There could be some room to add more streets to this.
Does signage have to be present for us to enforce that ordinance?
We do have signage in certain locations.
Where it says alternate side when the
I
road...
believe it does,
Yeah,
especially
we
down by
have a few
the...
of those around.
No parking with snow cover, hit that one.
No parking.
Yeah, but this is different. This is saying...
I know,
alternate
that's what I'm
side.
saying, so that's, I don't know how clear that is.
I'm just curious.
But again, on some of these streets, these are bigger streets, I think we need to look at it for some of the smaller streets. And again, it's a temporary inconvenience during the snow events, so it's not, so doing it permanently is a different issue, but we can certainly do it, at the chief's
Because it
discretion
is true.
during
If
snow.
a car's stuck there, and then it gets plowed in, that person is not going to take that car out for weeks.
Well, I don't think we aggressively tow either.
That car should be ticketed.
I mean, we can empower them to tow them also.
Right.
If we want to go that far on certain streets.
All right, we'll take a look at it next Wednesday when we have our traffic and safety meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you for letting us know. Thank you.
Can I have a motion to close the hearing to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council comments? Councilman Papaleo?
No comment, Mayor, thank you.
Councilman Aquafreda?
I'm tired, no comment.
Councilman Mignone?
Just briefly, congratulate Patrick Fletcher again on his award. Very well deserved, and it's a great honor for the town to have that caliber of a person in a position of authority here. Also want to congratulate the Cub Scouts Pack 95 again, and particularly, I'm a little partial. My son's in that pack too. He didn't participate in the Klondike this year, but I do have to say that the leadership is phenomenal in the River Edge Scouting program in general. And they didn't mention it tonight, but in addition to the 8 or 9 boys who were here tonight, there were 4 more who got what they call the Hour of Light Award, which is the highest award you can get in scouting, all graduating on to Boy Scouts. And last year, I've been to Eagle Courts of Honor for both troops, 184 and 2295. We have a Boy Scout troop that in 60 years has produced 100 Eagle Scouts.
Wow.
So it's amazing, and it's a testament to, it starts at the lower levels, obviously. You need the kids coming into the Cub Scouts and having a good experience and then moving on up. And so I think the scouting program is phenomenal in this town, and it's dedicated to volunteers like, Mrs. O'Neill and Ms. Volmar and Lou Zaccaro, and Kevin Kress, who's been training him for the Klondike for years after his kids have aged out. There's a phenomenal amount of leadership who just keep going on, and it's a tremendous program, and it's a really good asset for the town to have.
Should we do an award for this Arrow of Light?
It's something to do every year. Kids it's like a graduation of sorts, but it is a good distinction for these young boys to make. I mean, my son was very proud of it. I don't know how Brian felt, but he hung his arrow on the wall and he's got a certificate, so we're very proud of it. And it takes a lot of work. You don't think so, but it was.
We might need them soon if this weather keeps up.
But I'm looking tonight, and I said, another 6-8 years, I'm hoping to see another 10 Eagle Scouts out of these boys, because I know most of them personally, and I know most of them have that ability and that drive to do it. So.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bastide?
No comment, thank you.
Councilman Capola?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I don't know if you know, but February is Heart Health Month, and so I want to encourage everyone to get their yearly checkup, as I do, get your stress test, and particularly for the ladies, it's the #1 killer for women, more than all cancers combined. So it's not a joke, and I'm not joking when I say I get my full physical once a year, including the stress test and whatnot. So please keep that in mind and take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Murphy?
I just have a few things. Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to mention that local resident Ted and Stacy Stein will be working for Parkinson's Unity Walk in Central Park to help raise awareness and funds for Parkinson's disease. In the past, they've raised more than $300,000 toward this cause, and you can go online to unitywalk.org and look for Papa's New Jersey Rocking Walkers if you wish to make a contribution. I'd like to thank the DPW for all their hard work. Those guys have been we're getting compliments from people that don't even live in town. They're sending emails saying what a great job they're doing. So thank you, DPW. February 27th at 7 p.m., the Mayor's Wellness will be hosting, along with Anita De Silva, State Farm, 960 Kinderkmack Road, a Mayor's Financial Wellness Program, and food and beverages will be served. Everyone come, bring your friends, 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, I will be going to a meeting in Hackensack for the first Bergen County Irish Festival, so I'll let everybody know how that goes. And I did see in the paper that the freeholders will be voting on March 17th for the Bergen County Open Space. We are listed as one of the recipients, so the Little Ferry. So hopefully that'll go through, and we will get Phase 1 financing for Cherry Blossom Park. That's all. Thank you.
All right, I would like to again congratulate Superintendent Fletcher on being awarded the best superintendent in northern New Jersey. Again, kudos to the Cub Scout Pack for the Klondike Derby. That's some trophy that they won. My personal thanks to the John Lynch and the DPW, the Fire Department, and the Ambulance Corps for yeoman's-like work during this series of storms, which I hope is going to be behind us soon, and we have some milder weather so that we can get rid of all of this white stuff and I can shave. That's it. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.